Hello and welcome. These are your exchange updates from December the 12th, 2013. First article I want to talk about here is the Common Health. This is the new Fema Guidelines for mass casualty events, basically wanting to increase the security so people can get in and help out those who were victims of any events. Of course, this could be another thing where more security is around when these events occur. Found this kind of interesting though. We have some new TV shows coming up. We have one it's called The Last Ship in 2014. This is the crew of a naval destroyer is forced to confront the reality of a new existence when a pandemic kills off most of the Earth's population. We had the season premiere of Atlantis, which was on November the 23rd. This was during his search for his father, Jason. He ends up in an island of Atlantis where he makes new friends. Next TV show is The 100. Nearly a century after a nuclear war has destroyed most of civilization, a spaceship sends 100 juvenile delinquents back to Earth to investigate the possibility of recolonizing. Another season we also have is Martial Law on November the 26th, 2013. It says the reality show is executive produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, which follows the U.S. Marshals Service Gulf Coast Violent Offenders and Fugitive Task Force as they track the arrest the criminals in Texas. Some interesting TV headlines right there. I'll let them speak for themselves. Let's get into some Earth changes. First, we have flooding, which is continuing in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and we have dramatic video footage of this building which collapsed in Rio de Janeiro. This video footage was caught. A lot of flooding events taking place right now. We also had a flood which submerged in Balinda as high as 2 meters. You can see the image there of the flooding that's just inundating this entire street here in Jawa Barat. So we have floods that still haven't receded in Kampong Pulo. So these floods still aren't receding in this area, flooding on that entire street. And of course, yesterday I did talk about the 7 villages which was flooded. And we also had floods which hit Belareo in 7 villages in the district. This is in East Java, Madiun, and Bengawan Madison, which is heavy rain for several hours. Another thing that we've been having is high tides. I just want to once again show the scale of these, how many places are experiencing these high tide events, almost worldwide. Here we have a winter and high tides in the Washington shores. We also have king tides expected for San Francisco. We have hurricane force gusts slam the UK, as well as tidal surge, which is looming. And we have record high tides, which is causing flooding in Vietnam, in one of Vietnam's largest cities. So this is definitely not a central event. Let's talk about these oarfish once again. I sent out a warning once again for anyone living in California, off the coast there. We have this large 18-foot oarfish. These oarfish started dying days before a large earthquake in Japan and also in Argentina, as this video brought out. And they talk about the oarfish being a messenger, trying to send a message. Obviously, these animals, these marine animals, have to be sensitive to what takes place underneath the ocean. And that's a large oarfish there, so I guess this one would be super sensitive then. So it's just something to stay aware of. On top of this oarfish that popped out of the ocean recently, we also had this dire warning. This is about the San Andreas fault, which has always been a warning over the years. This is talking about an expert, Dr. Lucy Jones, which gave a lecture this week to the American Geophysical Union in San Francisco. She said, "Imagine America without Los Angeles." That's basically what she's saying. And she just goes on to talk about the damage that would take place from that San Andreas fault erupting. So it would just be devastating. We're going to get into fireball events. We had 3,219 events found in 2013. In the year 2012, 12, we had 2,149, so a very significant jump here, folks. This is the biggest year for fireballs ever. People, you can't just downplay this as just a non-event, a non-issue. This is an issue, and it's shaking people's homes. Just this year, also, we had one of the biggest. On top of this being the biggest year for meteors, we also had the Meteor event, which took place in Russia, which once again damaged buildings and could have killed a lot of people. We had people injured, over 1,200 people injured. So this is very interesting, this number here. And today we have 19 reports of fireballs that were reported being seen. And the largest report came out of Utah. One person says this was interesting. Second person says a group of 4 people were in the room at the time. I was looking out the north window and witnessed the event. Another member of our party also viewed it out of the same window while seated across the room. There was no sound to report in these reports. We also have 5 pending reports at the time. We have Nathan E., which is saying that he saw the smoke trail that faded and dispersed at time as it passed and matched trajectory of the path of the fireball. He said he didn't see any defragmentation, so very interesting here. I'm not necessarily sure if ISON has anything to do with this increase in fireballs, because we've been having the increase really since 2009. It's really picked up dramatically if you look at the field logs and the reports. So this is not, to me, I think ISON's unrelated to the massive increase we've seen here in fireball events. We get into earthquakes. Let's look at the most significant earthquakes of the day. We had the 4.7 in the Scotia Sea, 4.7 in the Molucca Sea. We had a 5.2 in the Kuril Islands. We had a 4.3 offshore in Guatemala, 5.0 in the Kuril Islands, 4.6 in Java, Indonesia, 4.4 in Jujuy, Argentina, 4.0 in the Hindu Kush region in Afghanistan, 2.6 in the Dodecanese Islands. We had a 4.3 in southern Xinjiang, China, a 4.8 in the Sea of Okhotsk. We had a 4.0 in central Iran as well. 3.2 in western Turkey, 2.4 in Switzerland, 3.7 in Greece, 4.8 in Salta, Argentina, 4.4 in Java, Indonesia, and we had a 4.8 in the Kermadec Islands in New Zealand. 4.5 in northern Colombia, 4.8 in Kyushu, Japan. We also have a 4.5 in the Kazakhstan border region. Alright, into some volcanic activity. We have the Etna volcano in Sicily. The situation has remained more or less unchanged at the current time. The Klyuchevskoy volcano in Kamchatka is showing Strombolian. The Klyuchevskoy volcano in Kamchatka is showing low-level ash emissions. And Earth's new volcano, the Nishino-shima volcano in Japan, has decreased significantly in terms of activity. But the crater is not growing at the time as much as it was just a week ago. We can see the footage here of the volcano. And it really is amazing to see a new island form. This is big news. This is really the news that is probably one of the most significant events I've seen in years, really. But of course, downplayed, I'm sure, by many media outlets. Here we have the Sinabung volcano in Sumatra, Indonesia, which shows no ash emissions which have been detected during the past 48 hours. The alert level is still at red because new explosions could happen at any given time. Of course, there were evacuees from this volcano. A total of 17,000 remain in the 31 shelters. We had another erratic explosion which took place in the Merapi volcano in central Java. Gonna look at the RSOE real quick. A few things one thing that came to my attention here was the Canary Islands extreme weather event here. Holidaymakers have been warned not to go out after the Canary Islands were hit by dangerously high winds and rain. Okay, so that's it for this video. Share, like, and comment. Welcome to my new subscribers. Have a great evening.